Hey guys, what is up? It is Bib7 here again, and welcome to another RuneScape 3 video here today on the release day of the brand new skill Necromancy. I'm going to be just going over my first impressions and thoughts in this video after my first day of playing the skill and leveling it up and interacting with all the new systems and stuff, and just going to give my first thoughts. Obviously, as you've seen today, I haven't really uploaded, on the release day of Archaeology. I think I uploaded like 10 videos because I was doing mystery guides and stuff. I don't know. Necromancy hasn't really just grabbed me as much as Archaeology did, and I wasn't really hyped up that much for it leading up to the release either. But yeah, that's basically why. I mean, and also in my opinion, they really did a good job with all the tutorials and how to do things. Like I don't feel like there's a need for guides in almost any way. I mean, sure, I could say go train at this location and stuff, but that's hardly a worthy video, I would say, as opposed to a mystery guide and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into it. So first of all, I guess as an overall broad stroke of thoughts, I mean, I think it's really fun. It's a good skill, definitely, and a cool addition to combat. It just does feel, and I mean, I am going to compare it to Archaeology a lot in this video, I guess, because that's the last skill that came out, obviously, and it is the most recent, I wasn't around for Invention release, so it's a pretty quick comparison. I'm not even 120 Archaeology on this account, but as I'm scrolling through here, just look at all the unlocks at Archaeology. And I know there's been a mini dig site added and the Orphan dig site added since, but even on release day, this was very similar looking to the amount of unlocks. It's crazy. And then you compare that to Necromancy, and while there is honestly quite a bit still, there's definitely very large gaps. There's not a whole lot of stuff they unlock. You usually go like 3 or 4 levels without unlocking anything a lot of the time. And I mean, that's kind of expected considering it's a combat style. And you can't really just have a new ability every level. That wouldn't make much sense. But yeah, that's just something that I've felt a little bit. And also because there's really not a whole lot new to do in terms of combat. The style is obviously new, but we're still killing the same old monsters. And especially for lower levels when you're training, it gets pretty boring pretty quick doing that, since you're just grinding off the, like with Archaeology or with other new skills, like you're grinding something probably in a similar way, but it's something new, and you get to be in new environments and stuff. Whereas here, unless you're killing those ghostly trolls, there's really nothing else you can do to train in the city outside of of course, the rituals. But in terms of combat, you have to go elsewhere, which I feel like it would have been nice if they managed to squeeze in, like maybe 2 or 3 Slayer monsters, or even just like a couple of mid to low level trash mobs aside from those trolls, since they're, like with a little more health in the city somewhere, because I think that would have helped a lot to bring it all together a little bit more personally. But anyway, yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's really, really good. As you can see, I'm level 71, pretty close to 72. That's where I got in this first day. I'm pretty happy with that. I wanted to get to 70 so I can start working on the power gear. I have the tier 70 weapons here, but I'm only on the tier 60 armor at the moment because I haven't gotten enough items from the boss thing. Honestly, hard for me to call this a boss. I've killed him 20 times and I've gotten 2 plates, plus you get 1 from the quest. So I have 3 plates out of the 5 I need to create the power armor tier 70 version of the armor set. I think it's called Death Dealer. So I'm looking forward to getting that. I don't really know if, maybe I got lucky on the drops of the plates. I'm not too sure. I feel like the drop rate can't be that high because it's, or whatever, can't be low because you need so many of these plates to make the higher tiers of the armor sets, the tier 80 and 90. You need like 2 or 3 plates per piece of armor, so that adds up to be a ton of them. So I really don't think the boss can have that rare of a drop rate on those. And then this boss kind of boring. The only other drop is this animated drumstick item, which is just for a quest. So you'll get that once for the quest in the city, and then that's it. And then his pet Herman. So yeah, and then you have, of course, Raziel, which nobody's been able to kill yet. Nobody's high enough level, but he just drops the full tier 95 weapon set and armor set, and then this pet as well. So these actually have some pretty cool looking things here. I don't really know what this is. Yeah, doubles damage on your basic attack. That's insane. And you get 2 additional residual souls with the lantern. So I mean that's just crazy. And then these are also buffs to the set of the necromancer armor, where you get per piece worn, increase the duration of conjured spirits, and basic attack damage of the conjured spirits. So yeah, that stuff's gonna be really, really powerful. But yeah, as far as the abilities go, now I didn't really look at anything prior to release, so I was kind of learning everything as I went. So some of you might already know all this information, but that kind of, I don't know, the way they marketed this skill leading up to release kind of killed the hype for me a decent amount as well. Also with them doing the things where they gave so much advanced info to a lot of the content creators. Like Microwave released a 1 to 120 guide before release, which is like so lame to me that that's even a possible thing that he could feasibly do. Like maybe it's clickbait garbage. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but at the same time, it's like, if you can even potentially claim to be able to give such information prior to the release of the skill, I think that's a bit revealing a bit too much. At least that's what I think. Because, I mean, obviously, a lot of what I liked about archaeology were the mysteries and the discovering of how big the dig sites actually get after you open up different locations and get further in. That was like magical to me, almost like I was exploring RuneScape again for the first time. And that's missing here for sure. I guess I'll head over to the city to talk about stuff there. Yeah, this is my tab at the moment. I have this because I don't know. I didn't unlock the tank armor version. I only unlocked the power armor version of tier 70. But let's take some spirit runes over to the city, and we can talk about stuff here as well. But yeah, like as far as the abilities go, they're all pretty cool. I don't know about this bleed. It seems kind of weird. Hard to know if that's like worth using. It probably is, but I haven't really paid. I mean, it's just such a slow damage over time, so it's only worth using on like bosses. But it also AOE's if you kill stuff. So I mean, I have no idea. I really am still like experimenting with stuff. One thing that I've found to be pretty dang strong is the Vengeful Ghost, because if you have the thing from the talent tree that lets you command it, it gives you double damage or something, like 2 times damage from hits on the target. So that I think has been really powerful. I've used that at the little boss guy. And then the residual souls are pretty cool. You build them up with soul sap. You use soul volley to use them up, or you can use soul strike. But that's more for AoE. I think this one does 135 to 165% damage to the target itself, and then deals damage around it. This one deals 135 to 165% damage per stack of residual. So it does the same damage. And this one also stuns and binds, which is better, but this one uses up all your souls at once. So it saves you potentially 2 global cooldowns if you're using it on the maximum number of stacks. So if you're against a single target and you don't care about stuns, you should obviously use Volley of Souls. Otherwise, Soul Strike is probably better if you can stun, because it's a long stun. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting choice between those. This ability sounds like it's going to be pretty fun to use. It looks like the big ultimate like Zerk and stuff for this skill. So haven't unlocked that just yet, getting close to it. Other skills. This one feels pretty bad to use. I kind of don't like this ability because it doesn't damage the target that you are actually targeting during the channeling process. So it's really only good in AoE because you leech health from everything around you and then deal damage based on how much you healed, which is pretty cool mechanic, but just not dealing damage to your primary target is kind of annoying. Obviously, you deal the damage after you unleash the ability, but it has a long charge time. How long do you channel for? Does it say right here? Siphon blood. Yeah, per hit every 1.2 seconds for 4 hits. So that's 4.8 seconds. Like, it's a pretty long thing you have to sit there and wait for. You sacrifice a lot of potential adrenaline gain or damage dealt with other abilities in that time frame. So I don't really know. That one's kind of meh. You have the combo of Touch of Death and Finger of Death, which is a pretty cool and fairly simple system. It's a very strong single target one hit ability, but it can cost up to 60% adrenaline if you have no stacks. So you have to build up those stacks with Touch of Death. So that's kind of a, just its own little contained system, kind of like the souls. Then you have the conjures. The main ones I've been using are the Skeleton Warrior and the Vengeful Ghost. The Putrid Zombie is also good for AoE. I haven't unlocked the ability to make him explode yet because I wanted that double damage, but yeah, the conjures are pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what other ones there are. They work really well even in multi-targets, so I'm impressed with Jagex's development on that. I'm pretty impressed. Like, you switch a target, your conjures switch targets instantly and follow you whatever you're attacking. It's actually really good. So pretty impressed with that. Given how like something like summoning familiars work, they're absolutely terrible. Oh yeah, and then you have this big ultimate Death Skulls, which is kind of a cool ability, but I don't know if it's worth using that much because it's so much adrenaline and it doesn't hit too many times. Maybe with the Zuck Cape it will be, I'm not sure. Then we have these incantations that you can get. The Bone Shield is cool. You can use shield abilities without a shield, so you don't have to switch. It's pretty bad until you get higher level, though, because it's based off your Necromancy level, what level of shields you get. And then there's also Greater Bone Shield, which is twice as good, that you don't get until a little bit later as well. There's this Threads of Fate attack, which has incantation, which has a 1 minute cooldown, which is really long, but lets you do AoE for 4.8 seconds with all your abilities. So that might be good to use like with Death Skulls. I don't know. Haven't really had the opportunity to fight mobs with high enough health for things like that to be worth trying, because anything with that high health is way too low accuracy, which makes you hit a lot less damage. But yeah, the incantations sound like they'll be pretty cool. This one's the big one, and I thought they said before the release, or like I remember on the initial time when they were talking about it with the content creators and stuff, I thought this was supposed to have the same cooldown as the duration extension it gave. I thought it was supposed to be like you could potentially make your conjures go infinite if you're able to sacrifice that amount of health every 20 seconds. So did they nerf this, or do I misremember that? I'm not sure. But if they nerfed it, that's kind of sad, because it makes it quite a bit less powerful, although probably still good. And then these, I haven't really looked at. Darkness, has to be overpowered, like insanely. 4 minute duration and 20% chance to dodge incoming attacks. That's just broken. It's just, you just have that on all the time. GG, you take 20% less damage guaranteed. Anyway, so that's the abilities. Onto the rituals here. The rituals are pretty chill. I like them a decent amount, although the components that go into them are pretty brutal to have to make. The amount of normal ashes you need is fairly insane. They've been going for like 8K each or something, and some of the higher tier inks have been selling for over 1 mil each, like all day, to make the glyphs. So it's pretty crazy how arduous it is to get some of the higher tier materials, and it's only going to get worse as you get even higher to the powerful ink and stuff like that. So I kind of wish they didn't use so many normal ashes, I guess, or they introduced at least a better way to collect them, because there still isn't really a great one as far as I know. You can like kill stuff in the abyss or just burn logs, or I think a few other monsters drop regular ashes, but that's a bit of an annoyance for both irons and mains, because that's expensive as heck. On a main and on an iron, it'll be really annoying to get the stuff. And bones are a lot less important than I thought they'd be. I don't know about anybody else, but you only need 1 bone for each communion ritual, which gives you quite a few souls into your well, whereas you use up way more. Like, the thing that would be limiting is easily going to be the ink and not the bones. But overall, the glyphs are pretty cool. I'm a fan of the alteration glyphs. Those are nice to have the option to use. The multiply glyph is very useful for communions, giving you additional souls off of each attempt you do there. I don't really know why you would want to decrease your soul attraction, but I don't know what happens at higher tiers of soul attraction. Maximum I've done is 180% with 2 multiply runes. Maybe I'll try and just put down like a bunch of attraction runes and see what happens for like a low level ritual, just to see what kind of crazy stuff can go down. I don't know, because The fact that there's the option to decrease means there must be some sort of reason to want to do it. I haven't found what that is yet, though. But yeah, overall the rituals are pretty cool. There's the ability to interact with a few things. A spirit can slowly glide across, or not even slowly. He kind of books it, but a spirit can glide across the arena, and you have to click it and get a small reward and a bit of XP. Same thing can happen where one of the tiles will start sparkling. You click that, get a small reward, a bit of XP, and then one that can happen at above 120% attraction is like a skeleton little monkey thing will spawn and start making its way towards one of the tiles. You have to click it and then click the tile that it's going towards to dispel it and get some little reward and a bit more XP than the others. So there is a decent amount of reward for paying attention. The XP they give is certainly not negligible, especially because the rituals themselves don't give that much XP, really. If you really want to get any sort of substantial XP from doing these rituals, you're going to need to be paying at least a decent amount of attention, because those events, if you aren't really paying attention, they don't last for very long. You kind of have to be paying attention to be able to get them in time, especially the monkey thing that spawns and goes towards a tile. But overall, I like the rituals. I just think the ingredients are a bit harsh, but maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I know a lot of people are probably making bank off of the people trying to race up and get the higher levels as fast as possible. So, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, one thing that's pretty stupid about the rituals, because as far as I can tell, there's pretty much no reason to make the higher tiers of candle. So I don't really know why they didn't make those required for higher tier ritual. I mean, probably better that they didn't, given how brutal they already are to conduct the higher tiers of ritual. But all they do is have higher durability, which really doesn't matter in the long run, as far as I can tell. But yeah. A lot of this is for making items. You make the impure essence here. You do all kinds of stuff like that. To make different things. To make the inks, you need to do stuff here, which give you the necroplasm, which is required to make the inks. But then another big thing you do here is the communions, where you offer up the bones and do a ritual to get souls into your well of souls here, which is what you need to get the perks and stuff from the tree. So every tier here, you requires a certain amount of souls. You can click it to see my next tier needs 4,500 souls to unlock. And you can pick from the talents that are available there. You gain talent points by doing combat with necromancy, basically. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. You get some pretty strong stuff from here, so you definitely need to invest into it. Like all of your command abilities. I think all your conjures, are from here, and their command abilities are there. See, it takes 2 times damage from all attacks. Oh, capped at 35% bonus damage. That's what it is. That's why it's not as good as it actually sounds, but it's still really good, I feel like. But then you see next tier I have available is like the life transfer and a couple of other things. So yeah, it's pretty simple system and pretty self-explanatory. You need a lot of souls for these higher tiers. This one is 35,000 for the top one, which is kind of crazy. I wonder if they'll add more tiers later on or something, because this caps out at level 90 necromancy. I don't know. Maybe they will add additional ones there or something. But yeah, overall the rituals are pretty cool. And then as far as the rest of the city, it's a pretty cool city. I like the atmosphere a lot. The music and sound effects have been really good, and it's really atmospheric and stuff. But as far as things that you actually do repeatedly in the city, there's not a whole lot else, I don't think. I mean, I haven't really fully explored the city, I'll be honest with you, so don't come at me too hard if I'm wrong on this front. But there is, of course, the rune crafting and the creating of weapons and stuff. But other than that, I don't really know what else there is to do in the city repeatedly, aside from the rituals there. But yeah, again, maybe I'm incorrect in that there is something else that I haven't discovered yet or anything. I've mostly been working on leveling up rather than exploring, but I'll definitely take a look around the city at some point. But I mean, the design of it is really cool, but it's just like I said, like maybe it would have been nice to have a Slayer mob or 2 added in here or something like that, just to make it a little bit nicer for training the actual skill with combat, aside from those little trolls. But yeah, other than that, the rune crafting is pretty simple. There's not much to say about it, in my opinion. You just convert the pure essence to impure, and then you can make the spirit, flesh, miasma, and bone runes at the altars that are all located within the portal that's here. And then there's also a new mushroom patch. Woohoo! Kind of cool. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it, guys. I don't really have a whole lot else to comment on as far as it's concerned. I mean, overall, I like it a lot. It's pretty fun learning the new abilities and how to work them together and stuff. And the self upgrading process has been rather enjoyable as someone who enjoys Iron Man. It's kind of nice to be able to do it with not too much trouble on a main account as well. I've done all my upgrading myself. You can actually buy any of these if you want, so that is a possibility for people who don't want to make it, which is probably good to have that option. As far as the boss is concerned, by the way, Hermod, again, I hesitate to even call it a boss. It's pretty much on par with like God Wars Dungeon 1, maybe even less than God Wars Dungeon 1, I would say. It's probably easier than God Wars 1, because, yeah, I would think, honestly, because he has basically one spec, and then he also summons minions, and his one spec is like the slowest wind-up slam of all time. If you can get out of the way of it super easily, and even if you don't, it caps out at like a 1.5 or 2k hit, which isn't that threatening. I know, of course, I'm 99 defense and have soul split and stuff, but still, I think this boss was a little bit disappointingly easy. Now, of course, you do unlock him at level 65 and stuff, so I don't know. We'll see how Raziel ends up being, but for Hermod, he's basically like a glorified Slayer monster, in my opinion. Even some Slayer monsters are far more dangerous than he is. And I mean, it's totally fine to have mid-level or whatever low-level bosses in the game. I have no issue with that. It's just, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have been expecting anything more than what he is, to be honest with you, given the level you unlock him and what his purpose is. So I guess I'll not talk too much about that. One thing I think is insane, though, is that they added Spirit Weed Seeds to his drop table just to grief everyone, because those are worthless because of Archglacior. So not sure what they were thinking there. But other than that, I don't really know what other videos I'm going to make. I'll definitely make a video talking about Raziel and what I think about him when I get there. As far as guides are concerned. Oh, the quests also. The quests have been great. I've really liked all the quests. I've done all the ones I can do by myself. No guides, no looking up anything, and just figuring out myself. They've been really good. A lot of funny parts in quite a few of these quests that I've enjoyed quite a bit. Nothing like outstanding that I can really point out. There's not been really any puzzles or anything like that, which is kind of disappointing. Hopefully maybe one of these will have something like that. But this one has been a bit weird of a quest, I think, because you can start it at level, I think, 40 something, or maybe even before that, actually. I'm not sure. I think it is actually before that. And then you can do like a very small part of it where you go to the Lumbridge Catacombs and retrieve a guitar. And then after that, you're faced with steps that require level 45, 50, and 60 necromancy, or 65 even. I don't remember. Probably 60. I can't remember, honestly. But, 65 necromancy. So it's kind of weird that you get it so early, and then you're just like, oh, but you also need all these other higher levels to actually complete it. And that's one of those drops, like I said, from the boss that I haven't gotten yet. But other than that one, I mean, all the quests have been good. I mean, that's been a good quest too. It's just kind of weird that, it has such high requirements inside the quest that, you barely get to start it before you're told you need higher levels, come back later. But yeah, overall, a pretty good release, I think. There was some bug people are exploiting that they seem to crack down on pretty quick. And I'm a fan of it. Personally, just not quite as good as Archaeology was, just for me. Haven't done any of it on my hardcore yet. I mean, it's a new combat skill. I'm not trying to dabble with it on my hardcore like an idiot, but so far nothing to indicate that there'd be any issue there. And I'm going to be needing to sit at that ritual platform for ages on there anyway, so I can probably just do that and be perfectly safe. But as far as other videos on Necromancy, again, Raziel, I will, of course, make a video and talk about. But if you guys have anything you'd like, then you can maybe leave it in the comments down below. I don't think the boss warrants a guide at all. If Raziel is difficult, I'll definitely make a day one guide for him, or I guess it won't be technically day one, but day one when I get there, because I like to do those. But other than that, I don't know. I'm not really a person. I don't really make quest guides too much. And as far as I'm concerned, these quests don't really require guides. They're all pretty simple and self-explanatory and enjoyable. So I'd recommend you do them yourself if you don't mind, and read the dialogue if you're so inclined. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Although one thing that I wanted to just touch on that was something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit was, I don't know, it's kind of a stupid thing, and maybe it's only unique to me, and also like I'm sure a lot of people don't care about the lore at all, but I'm not a really big fan of where they went with the story in general, and only kind of showed up to me in my head in this instance, like how you're supposed to be the world guardian. I feel like doesn't really make that much sense in an MMO. Like when I'm the world guardian and I have all these other people, like I'm supposed to be Raziel's apprentice, the chosen person to learn necromancy and face him, and I'm doing these rituals with 5,000 people also doing them right next to me. I mean, it's kind of like just clashes with itself quite a bit in terms of immersion, I guess. I don't know. It's probably it's kind of probably a petty complaint and just kind of weird. It just seems like a strange direction to take an MMO as far as the story is concerned, just to try and make the player like the chosen one. I don't know. But maybe that is how most MMOs do it. Honestly, I'm not super familiar with MMO storylines. But it just felt a little weird to me that, during Necromancy, like I'm trying to become this guy's apprentice and learn and take him down and, save the world while everyone else is also doing the same. I don't know. Probably a stupid complaint. And again, I don't think I articulated it very well either, which doesn't help. But just something that kind of struck out to me a little bit, because I have been reading the quests and paying attention quite a bit to what, everything in there. So that has been something I just sort of came up as a result of that. Anyway, that's pretty much it, you guys. Overall, I think good skill release for sure. I've been enjoying it, and I am kind of looking forward to trying out Necromancy at some of the older bosses, but need to get quite a bit higher level before then. If I think of anything else, I'll probably post it in a pinned comment or something, or make a follow-up video, but that's all I have for now. I got to go to bed, got work in the morning, and I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know how your first day of Necromancy was. What'd you do? Did you enjoy the skill release? And I'll see you next time. Peace out.